So we're gonna listen to this guy's, well, part of his campaign uh, announcement thing, and this is someone who has the know-how, the access to capital to actually solve, or well, not solve, but assist in the issue that is homelessness in California. Um, and we'll compare kind of what he says, these these sort of empty promises, to what he actually does with the capital and the audience that he has access to. So let's just see what he had to say when he was running for governor.
For the last 24 years. Just as another example, consider 70% of the homeless on our streets become homeless because of economic reasons due to joblessness, evictions, or poverty. These are preventable issues. Now, unfortunately, many people on our streets then fall victim to mental health issues and substance abuse issues. Yet, we never learn about mental education in our schools. We might learn about physical education, but how about mental education?
So that's an interesting point. Um, Mental education. I'm pretty sure this guy suffers from some sort of gambling addiction. Like it's kind of apparent, but
Folks, there's so many things, so many common sense solutions that a governor can lead and implement in our state. Currently, we have a governor who refuses to do any of this.
Half of African Americans in the state of California, roughly half of Latino families, have no access to a checking account or an ATM. Things we take for granted. They don't have a checking
What's
account.
wrong with that?
And well, because they don't have the resources to sock those things away.
Why do we have them?
A lot of different reasons, but roughly half those families don't. I mean, a lot.
okay, I thought there was more of him talking, but what I what I wanted to get at is, you know, people who have a lot of influence, like me, Kevin does, can do some pretty cool, neat things, but they do it in the pursuit of either money or status and not really out of morals. So you get into this really bad situation when you kind of put the puzzle together. It's like all he was talking about when he was running for governor was how he's going to solve all these problems. And as soon as he's not running anymore, he just doesn't care. It's right back to, oh, $1 Doge or 1 cent Shiba Inu. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, you realize kind of afterwards, they're like, oh, I kind of got played by this dude. Um, that's a that's a concept that they actually tried to hone in on in the military when people try to get promoted. A lot of people's reasons to wanting to get promoted, or just in any job, is they want the responsibilities that that position holds. So a big thing in the army is like leadership, taking care of other soldiers. So what they try to home in on is you don't need to be promoted. You don't need to have this certain status to make that kind of difference. You can do that when you're straight out of basic training. But we feel the need to get this status first, or this amount of money, this amount of status, in order to feel like that we can do these things, which is 100% not true. Meet Kevin has the know-how, the access to capital, the followship to do some pretty neat things, but yet he spends his time on things like this, which I'm going to show you.
There were some folks who were like, Kevin, you didn't get screwed by Shiba Inu, you got screwed by the gas fees. Well, I did the math, and I only lost 25.69% of my $13,777 from gas fees. I actually lost most of my value by getting screwed by using leash. And this is something that I have a gripe.
So if you haven't seen this video before, it was a NFT drop when Shiba Inu was at its peak. So we were peak crypto pump and dump era about 5 months ago. And this guy lost $14,000 failing to get a JPEG image of 8 pixel dogs. So if he ever runs for governor again, all his competition has to do is show this video and say, look at what this guy does when he has access to capital. You can see it on the bottom there. It says lost opportunity 30,000. So his intention with buying this NFT was to flip it for a profit. That was the only motivation. That's the only motivation in the crypto market, is to buy something and then flip it to the next loser for more than you paid for it, hopefully. And when you get enough people on board, that tends to work for a while, but it's definitely not going to work in the long run. So his motivation for a lot of the things that he does is either status or money. This is a perfect example of doing something simply for money. It doesn't matter what it is. There's just so much hype around it. But it turns out that he actually got screwed by transaction costs, which is hilarious, because that's actually how a lot of people get screwed just in normal like stock or option trading, except this is way more amplified because it's not regulated. Later on in the video, he mentions that there's no customer service to call or anything. Like, yeah, like no shit, this whole thing is a fucking scam, and yeah, he definitely got scammed for this. To put it in perspective, the guy who wants to save the homeless people, um, this is the car I have. It's pretty sick, but it costs like 15K. So like, yeah, he pretty much just lost a car. Failing. Not even like, it's like, okay, maybe he tried to buy like 8 of them. Maybe if you got like 1 or 2, and you flipped them and you broke even, all right. But like, he didn't get a single one. He was just spamming fees to like try to get it, and he just never got it. But the sole intention of trying to buy it was to just sell it later on. That is in no way productive to society at all, especially when it is someone who has access to capital, followers, the know-how. He's been flipping fixer uppers in real estate for what, 10, almost 15 years now. I don't know how long he's been doing it. But if he kind of takes that know-how and applied it somewhere else, he could do a lot of cool things. But for whatever reason, he's only motivated by status and money, which is kind of sad to see. And there's a lot of examples of that. The governor's thing being a really big example. A lot of the problem, like, he lives in the state. It wouldn't hurt to. I mean, like, he could raise money. Like, it doesn't have to be his own money. A lot of the stuff he was using like, he was running for governor at like peak market status, so like everything was up like crazy, to the point where he almost bought like a jet with like half his net worth or something ridiculous, and then he lost a bunch of money, and he's like, oh yeah, never mind, good thing I didn't do that. But yeah, it's back then it was like peak meme, but now you just don't hear him saying anything about the plans he had for governor at all. So really, this guy's just a kind of snaky politician, like a lot of people, and it's just kind of sad to see, because he does have like the tools to do those things on his own. He just needs the different type of motivation. So that's my take. I'll see you later.